You are now tuned in to the lovely frequency. Hi, my lovelies. Welcome to the home of good vibrations, your sanctuary for soulful vibes and elevated stories. This is the lovely frequency, and I am your host, Nompumelelo Lee Ndlovu. But if you love me, I hope you know that you can always call me Miss Lovely, okay? Welcome to the very first episode of 2026. Oh my gosh, can you believe it? Just saying it is even crazy to me. 2026. Just yesterday, it was 2025, January. Like, I still remember January of 2025 so vividly. I remember my episode. Okay, well, to be fair, I did record my first episode of 2025 in February. So the fact that I'm doing this in January and is dropping in January, please, round of applause. Round of applause for me. I am proud of myself. I'm gonna just give myself a round of applause because I am so proud of myself for doing this. But I'm more so proud because I have actually been feeling a huge hesitancy about coming back. I feel like a child. No, I feel like a teenager that went to groove at like on the 29th of November of 2025, and I'm only returning today. You know, I have felt so anxious about coming back to the space. I felt so nervous about coming back to the space. It had been so long since I had set everything up. So I was like nervous about the technicalities of the thing, you know, the electronics and all of these things. And there was so much thinking going on. And I was like, you know what? No. I'm actually not going to be that girl anymore. Like, I am so tired of being the overthinking girl. Oznglisha a nice time, because my overthinking leads to me depriving myself of the things that I actually want to do, because I'm always thinking of this, that, and the third. And because I'm always thinking of this, that, and the third, it's either I don't get to enjoy the thing at all, or I don't get to enjoy enough of the thing. So yeah, I mean, I know I just kind of dove right in. Didn't tell you what we're doing here today, why we're here today. But that is just the energy that I wanted to come with here today. I wanted to let you know that your girl is back like umqolo, okay? Back like I never left. And that is just the energy that I want to come back with for everything in my life, for every creative thing, for every relationship, every friendship, every single facet into my life. This is the kind of energy that I want to pour into those facets. This is the kind of energy that I want to pour. This is the kind of energy that I want to foster. And this is the kind of energy that I want to move forward with and move forth with. But before we move forth, I wanted to take things back just for a second, because I was reflecting on 2025, you know, especially because there was this whole little trend going around with 2025 Wrapped, and you know, people were obviously sharing their Spotify playlists, and you know, people were also just sharing things that they did in the year 2025, and just looking back and reflecting on the year that was, right? While I was reflecting on the year that was, I was also just thinking about the kind of feelings that I had towards 2025. And I realized that by December, I had a lot of negative feelings about 2025. You know, I had a lot of negative feelings about 2025. And I was just like, burn the whole year. Let's just reset. Let's just start again. None of that was necessary. I want different. I don't want that. I want different, you know? And it's so funny because this was actually a conversation that I was having on a podcast, on my friend's podcast, Gugu's podcast. And it was her, Zama, and I, and we were just talking about how the year was just it was surprising, and leaning more towards the negative side of surprising. And I think the reason why I had those feelings now that I look back is honestly because I forgot what 2025 actually was, what I did in 2025, and all the energy that it took for me to get through 2025. So it would make sense that by the time that we were reflecting on the entire year, we were just so tired of the year because we were just so tired in general. But I will say, before I even really get into my 2025, what that was like truly for me, now that I've gotten downtime and I've gotten to recoup my energy and recalibrate and all of that, I will firstly start off by saying that the thing that I have come to appreciate the most is the fact that I have you on the other side of the screen. I have you here with me, rocking with me, whether it's that you've been rocking with me since my very first episode or whether you found me somewhere along the way. I actually just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for rocking with me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in to the lovely frequency. And thank you for sharing the show, for talking about the show, for talking to me about the show or talking to other people about the show. Because something that I actually did not expect when I was checking my Spotify Wrapped for like music and things like that was my Spotify Wrapped for my podcast. That was something that actually came as a huge surprise to me. I'd never actually I don't think I had accessed my Spotify Wrapped for my podcast before. This was my first time. I don't even know if I had access to it before, if I'm being honest. So that might be why this was my first time checking it. But either way, whatever the reason was for me to go out of my way and check out my podcast Wrapped, I love that I did, because that to me, that to me was such, that was really special to me, because it made me realize that even though I often feel very much alone in the creation of my podcast, and I oftentimes feel like I am speaking into the void, because when I do record these episodes, it is just me, a ring light, a camera, a microphone, and, a laptop. I often feel very alone in the creation of this, and I often am very much alone. And it always just makes me wonder, even though I know what the point is of why I'm creating, the point is the fact that I need to express myself creatively. I don't really have a choice. And because I want to express myself creatively, it comes out in my words, it comes out in my work, it comes out in my art. It comes out just in this way where it's something that can be visually understood and digested, right? Even though I understand my why, sometimes I feel like what is the point of, trying to tell people about it, trying to get people to tune into it? What is the point of me saying the things that I want to say and then also having people listen to them? Because I know I'm going to listen back because these are things I need to hear, but who cares? Who else cares? And those Wrapped analytics prove to me that there are people out there who, even though some might not go out of their way to let me know how they feel about the podcast, there are people who do love it. And then there are those who have let me know along the way that, they're loving the podcast and can't wait to see how we grow and where it goes and all of these amazing things. But yeah, it was just such a defining moment for me in my life. And it was such a sweet moment for me as well to know that even though I may not always feel my best or up to showing up or feel like I can show up or I should show up, this showed me that I don't have to think about it too much. I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to try and create some kind of version of perfection. I don't have to try and be something that I'm not, because essentially this, who I am is who you're happy with. And if you're happy with that, I'm ecstatic with that, because this is all I can be, you know? So, but yeah, I just really just wanted to start the episode off by expressing gratitude. Gratitude for every listen, every share, every link, click, and, you know, all of that wonderful stuff. Yeah, I feel like it's a great way for me to like start off the year. Even though it was a wrap that I saw last year, it definitely motivated me to want to come back here, to want to speak more, and to want to create more and to connect with you more and to know who's on the other side of the screen. So whoever you are, you know, in all parts of the world, from the East Rand to Pretoria to Nigeria to Ireland to South African coasts to like all over the world, really. Like I don't know. I never imagined that my podcast would go places in the world, you know, I guess because that was never the objective for it. Initially, the objective was just wanting to have a space where I could express myself, and I was able to do that. And yeah, I'm just so honored and so grateful that you allow me the space to come and do that here, and that you enjoy what it is that I am doing here as well. So yeah, thank you to each and every one of you. You are so loved, you are so appreciated, you're seen, and I hold you dearly in my heart. All right. So yeah, and speaking of 2025 and the year that was, now that I've actually gotten some downtime and I've gotten to really think about why it was that by the end of the year I felt so many negative emotions, I actually I want to take back my statements. Okay, I want to take back the statement that I made on Gugu's podcast. I was sad that day, but today we up. Okay, 2025 was actually a good year. I'm not gonna lie. 2025, if I'm being honest, was actually a very fruitful year for me. Not because I necessarily got to like harvest anything like the fruits of my labor, but fruitful in the sense that I got to immerse myself in worlds that I never imagined that I would immerse myself in. And because I allowed myself to be immersed in those worlds, I got so much more back than I could have ever imagined that I could get. I think the things that I gave myself to last year gave back to me in ways that I couldn't have experienced if I didn't allow myself to do things that were outside of my comfort zone, right? And an example of that is like basically what I did in the beginning of the year. So in the beginning of the year last year, and I'd forgotten all about this, by the way. I've forgotten all about what it is that I've done in the year. By the time I got to December, I forgot everything. I forgot why 2025 was what it was and what got me through. And I was just focusing on the moment. And yeah, I was in my feels, if I'm being honest. I was very much in my feels that day. And just that whole week was not a good week. So yeah. But yeah, one of the amazing things that I actually got to do in 2025 was, so in the beginning of the year, I was part of a group that launched South Africa's first smart theater. So this is incorporating technology into the performance art space, into like a traditional theater space, which I thought was so cool and very interesting. Something that I'd never considered, but something that really made sense for me once I was there, just being with other creatives, being with like-minded people who, you know, are out of the box thinkers. And I think experiencing that challenged me in so many ways to just step outside of my comfort zone and to consider differently, you know, to rethink the way that I had been thinking about things and what's possible and what's not possible. It definitely redefined for me what possible looks like, and it pushed the boundaries of possibility. And now I feel like, because I've seen that, you know, anything is possible, basically just about anything you put your mind to, I feel like I'd be doing myself a huge disservice by like holding myself back and not thrusting myself forward into opportunities and things that I see that are interesting and fun and yeah, just fulfilling, you know, in ways that I'd never experienced before. So yeah, I thought that was really cool. I also didn't know how much I was actually into tech. I realized that I'm actually really low-key a tech girl, or maybe high-key a tech girl, because I really enjoyed playing with like the virtual reality goggles, you know, playing with Oculus and building worlds and, you know, learning about new technologies that were coming up and how that was going to impact, you know, South Africa and how that was going to impact creatives and yeah, people in the performance space and people outside of the performance space as well, just life in general. So yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. And another cool thing that I also got to do last year was, oh man, I did so many amazing things actually, now that I really think about it. I went to like a painting event kind of a thing. That was really cool. I'd never really gone to a space where other creatives were expressing themselves and just vibing out and mingling in that way. So yeah, I thought that was really cool. Oh my god, I got to see Sasha Keeble last year, guys. Oh. One of my best friends took me to see Sasha Keeble for my birthday last year. How could I see Sasha Keeble and then turn around in December and say that that was a bad year? Am I sick? Like, do I need to get checked out? Because that's, if nothing else, that was the highlight of my year. That was the highlight of my year. That was exactly what I needed, and I need some more because that was amazing. That was truly amazing. And I can't believe I forgot about this. By the time I got to December, I was just like, cut the cameras. Cut the cameras. Cut the cameras. But yeah, that was one of the cool things that I got to do. I got to interview Kujenga. Oh my gosh. Have y'all checked out the episode? If you haven't checked out the episode, pause this right here. Go check out the Kujenga episode. Go check out the BTS on my YouTube. Just run. Don't walk, run. Because we had an amazing conversation with the crew. And that was something that was really scary for me as well. Also, I actually just want to touch base on what that was like for me. I felt like I had been postponing it and pushing it, even though it was something that I wanted to do. But in the back of my mind, I was postponing and pushing the reaching out and talking about wanting to do it and setting it up and all of that. And when I tell you that that episode came together at the very last minute, I mean at the 11th hour. Like, we confirmed the interview on the day of the interview, a few hours before the interview was meant to take place. So that was crazy for me. That was wild for me. You can imagine the stress levels. You can imagine the anxiety. You can imagine the nerves, okay? The nerves were through the roof. The anxiety was all over me. It was surrounding me and it was suffocating me, okay? The nervousness was not cute. But you know what? I showed up and I did the damn thing. And now that I look back, I'm just like, why were you nervous? Why were you scared? But you know what? I'm happy with how I did. And I am so proud of that episode. And I am so proud of the fact that that was my first ever professional interview, number one. Second of all, it was with a band whom I really do respect, whose music I love, and whose mission I really do support and respect as well. So yeah, that was amazing. And the way that the interview was conducted as well kind of surprised me because I couldn't plan for that. You know, I didn't have mics for everybody, so I kind of had to figure that one out. And I also didn't really know how it was that I was gonna keep everybody involved in the conversation without anybody really feeling left out or feeling like I'm talking to one person too much and not really getting enough from the other band members. So the fact that that just naturally flowed and it just came together. Listen, I don't know how it happened, but it happened and I'm glad it did. And I'm super proud of myself. Okay. And yeah, I feel like it was a beautiful episode. Like, if you're going to give people something, give them something that you're proud of, you know? So I'm proud of that episode and I hope that you guys enjoy it and hope that you guys love it as much as I do. And when I dropped the episode, I also got to see them the next day and they were previewing their latest album. So that was pretty cool. It was actually really a great week for me that time. And yeah, now that I really look back, I'm like, actually, yeah, I had some good moments. Let's see, what else did I do in 2025? I'm actually going to pull out my phone because I have this tendency of really forgetting the good in my life. And we're going to get into it on this episode. I know we're already like basically 30 minutes into this. But I feel like I have this tendency of really zoning in on the negativity and allowing that to consume me and consume my mind. And then I forget about all the wonderful things that actually sustained me and carried me throughout the year. And I think that's why it was so important for me to go back and actually remember what I did in the year and why I actually, or how I actually managed to make it to the end of the year. Because if it was really as terrible as I was saying, I don't think I was going to make it. I don't think I was going to make it personally, you know? So yeah, I got to interview Kajenga. That was pretty cool. I walked in a fashion show. Yeah, girl walked in a fashion show. I walked in a fashion show for an African brand, Slick Fit Apparel. Okay, so that was pretty cool. I was in my Naomi Campbell bag. Okay, I did my Naomi Campbell walk, hey, and I ate that up, and I left no crumbs. Okay, and I'd honestly be more hyped, and I'd be making so much more noise right now if it wasn't literally 10 past 1 a.m. because I want to be jumping out of my skin, screaming and shouting about how amazing that experience was. I've never walked a runway before. And mind you, I've never walked for a luxury brand either. Okay, y'all might not really know about Slick Fit Apparel just yet, but trust me, you gonna know. And if you don't know, consider yourself somebody who's very much out of the loop because you should know, okay? And if you know me, you should know, okay? So that was really cool. You know, we got to walk in the company of Battle School Rivals, and I think it was Battle School Rivalry, and YFM was there as well. Speaking of YFM, I got to co-host the Lunch League with Fresh Caddy. I want to scream, but I'm not going to scream, okay? I got to co-host live on radio for like, I think it was like from like 12 till 3 o'clock. That is a good chunk of time that I was just there at YFM doing my thing, just hanging with Caddy. I thought that was really cool. And that was definitely not on my bingo card. Okay, that was not on the bingo card. But also, I feel like nothing that I did last year was actually on the vision board. Nothing was on the bingo card. I didn't see any of it coming, but it all came. And when it did, I was nervous for all of it. And by the time that I was done, it was the best time of my life. That is one thing that I will say. So yeah, walking in a runway, that was pretty cool. Co-hosting on live on radio for the very first time in my life. That was really cool, especially because radio is not necessarily something that I had considered for myself. Not because I don't like radio, but because I think I just never imagined that I could do that, you know? I just never thought that was something that I could do. I didn't think that it was something that I had the voice for or the energy for or the knowledge for. But you know what? More than anything, I think what I really learned from doing that was that you don't have to be ready. You just have to be willing to show up, and the rest will literally sort itself out. So that was amazing. And I feel so blessed and so honored to have had that opportunity. Bring them on. Bring more opportunities. Let me host more things. Let me host some more things. Okay. I'm ready. I'm ready now. Now I'm ready. I wasn't ready then, but I'm ready now. Okay. So yeah, that was pretty great. What else did I do? I completed an art piece last year, guys. Like I actually completed an art piece. Like anybody that knows my creative process and knows how long it takes me to complete art knows how much of a big achievement this is. So yeah, I completed a commission for a friend and I really love the piece, and I'm having hard times letting it go, to be honest. But at the same time, I'm not complaining at all. I'm happy about that. I'm happy about the fact that I managed to actually finish a piece, that I actually managed to discipline myself enough and focus enough to sit down and to do something creative and then see it from beginning to completion, you know? So yeah, that I'm gonna give myself a little pat on the back for that, because I am really proud of that. I I really feel like I let myself down so much when I start things and I don't finish them, because I know that that really is not me. Like that is not my character. That is not who I want to be. That's not who I want to be known as. I don't want to be known as a person who is such a perfectionist to the point where it cripples her and she actually can't do things, or when she does things, she doesn't finish them. Hell no, that's not who I want to be. But in addition to me actually finishing a commission for a friend, I also finished a couple of other art pieces as well. I think I made about, about 5 of them that I'm really proud of. And for me personally, that is a lot. For me to have completed 6 pieces, you know, painting and pen and pencil and all of that, all in 1 year, I'm gonna give myself kudos for that. And I'm hoping that I'll take some of that energy that I used last year and bring it into 2025. Oh, 2026, honey, 2025. Please don't take me back. Even though it was good, don't take me back. Okay. I'm hoping that I'll take that 2025 energy into 2026 and just amplify it and just do more with it and go harder and go stronger and, you know, just be more creative and just give you guys more of me, because I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. I'm happy to be here. You know, I feel like for once in my creative journey, I actually feel excited to be here. I don't feel like I'm forcing myself to do this. I don't feel cringy about it. I'm not overthinking what it is that I'm saying. I know I've been rambling and I don't know how much of this episode is going to make it to, you know, the final draft, but I don't care anymore. Yeah, I don't know if that comes with growth. I don't know if that comes with the fact that I've suffered at my own hands just by allowing myself to overthink so much, to be crippled by perfectionism, to be crippled by anxiety, okay? Or to be crippled by, you know, sad moments or whatever the case is. I don't know if it's all of that, but whatever it is, I'm happy that I'm now in a space where I want to move forward. I don't want to speak about moving forward anymore. I just want to do. I don't want to speak too much. I just want to arrive. I just want to be in the rooms. I want to be in the chats. I want to be in the conversations. I want to be, you know, I'm actually genuinely welcoming everything that comes with 2026. And I'm not afraid for the first time in my life, you know? And I should have never been afraid, because I mean, what am I afraid of? I ain't gonna die. And if I am gonna die, then I'm dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, logic, think about it. So yeah, this is just who I am. This is the place that I'm at right now in my life. I'm feeling very happy, very excited, and very proud of myself for the kind of year that I had in 2025. Even though really, like, you know, the bad was really bad. I'm not gonna lie, but the good, so sweet, so delicious. Run it back. Love that. What else did I do? We won a marathon award for the podcast, but that is because of you guys. Once again, like I said, thank you. I just lost my ring. Okay, anyways. We won a marathon award for the podcast. So that was pretty cool. I think a marathon award just means that, like, I've been in it for the long run. Like, I haven't given up on the podcast, and there's people who've been listening to it for the longest of time, you know? So shout out to y'all. I love y'all guys so much. You keep me going, you keep me inspired, and you keep me so happy and feeling so loved and all of those amazing things. And I only hope and wish to give that energy back to you. So yeah, those are a few of the things that I did in 2025. And I will say that the biggest lesson that I learned from 2025 was that movement comes before confidence. You know, a lot of the times I lacked a lot of confidence in doing the things that I was called to do. And that was not because I am not a confident person in myself and in my capabilities, to be honest, but it was more so because I wasn't confident in whether or not, like, you know, I was the girl for the job. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you sure? Are you sure you wanted it to be me? Because I have 0 years of experience, technically, you know, so are you sure? Are you sure? Like, I don't want to mess this up for you. Like, are you okay? I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to play by the rules, but are you sure that you want it to be me? You know, I had a lot of that energy in me last year, where it was just like, I was humbling myself a lot. I was allowing myself to be a bit more quiet. And I'm not too upset with myself for being that way last year, because I think that allowed me to settle into who it was that I really wanted to be, and to realize what that was going to take from me, you know, what that was going to require from me and what it was going to take away from me, but also what it was going to give me in return, And yeah, I think what it gave me was honesty. It gave me honesty. I had to really be honest with myself. I had to be honest about why it was that I was feeling negative things, why it was that I was procrastinating with some things, why it was that I was overthinking some things, why it was that I was being a perfectionist in some places. I had to be honest with that, and I think being honest with those feelings and being honest with myself is what has allowed me to be in this space where now I know that if I wasn't meant to give it a shot, if I wasn't meant to try, if I wasn't meant to believe in myself, I don't think that the opportunity would even present itself, but the fact that it's there means that it's there for a reason. It's there to show me something, and it doesn't always mean that I'm going to get every single opportunity that comes my way, but it doesn't mean that every opportunity that comes my way was meant for me in any case. It just means that those opportunities were further opportunities for me to just learn more about myself, learn what I'm like when I do get an opportunity, learn what I'm like when I don't get an opportunity, learn who I am outside of the things that I want, and learn who I am just in general, because I feel like that is something that I had been lacking for such a long time, was just a knowledge about who it was that I really was. And I thought that the definition of who it is that I am or I'm supposed to be would come from accolades, and would come from opportunities, and would come from people. People would tell me, oh, you're this and this and that, and but that was never going to come. That was never going to be the story. That was never going to be my story. My story was going to be, who are you in the face of this and that? Who are you in the face of fear? Who are you in the face of doubts? Who are you when you have a routine? Who are you when you fall out of that routine? Do you love who you are, without the accolades? Do you love who you are without the recognition? Do you still believe that, this is where you're supposed to be, even when the proof is not there, And I'd like to say, yeah, I'm still her. Yeah, I'm still her. Even when I doubt myself, or when I have doubted myself, because I don't think that's something that I will allow myself to be doing much of anymore. I know it is a subconscious thing sometimes, and sometimes we just can't help but to feel like we're not ready for something. But that is not the energy that I'm going to be projecting out into the world anymore. That is not the energy that I'm going to be allowing to define me. And that is not the energy that I'm going to be allowing to be an excuse as to why I didn't show up, or why it took me so long to show up, or why I think that somebody else should show up. Now I'm just a girl who's just like, you know what? I'm learning and I'm growing every single day. And I'm proud of myself for getting up every single day, because I remember there were times when I couldn't even get up. And that's just the truth, okay? There were times when my life went from being busy and booked every single day. I had things to do, I had places to go, and then it went completely silent, and that broke me. And it broke me down and chopped me up and diced me down and pulverized me into dust. And there were times when I couldn't even get up, So now that I am sitting here deep in this hole, please excuse my language today. Please excuse my language. I have been watching a lot of Uncle Waffles' videos and stuff, and she loves the word hell, so she's on my mind. I love you, baby. Love you, Uncle Waffles. Yeah. So we in that hole, and now I just feel differently. I feel differently. I don't care so much anymore. I remember last year, the thought that had kind of arisen in my mind was that I have to get over myself. Hey, I genuinely have to get over myself. The fact that I have the opportunity to kind of test out my personality, test out my creative work, test out my episodes and things like that, to a crowd of people who seem to care enough to just hear what it is that I have to say, every now and then, but also to a small crowd. We're still keeping it cute. It's still just like us. The fact that I have this right now is a blessing that I will never get to experience again. Like, this is the time when I'm supposed to really just be doing the most, going ham, doing the whole trial and error stuff. And the fact that I've been holding myself back from doing the trial and error stuff is the reason why I have had so much anxiety. It's so crazy. Like, the realization that because I wasn't trying, I was then being anxious, but then I was anxious, and so I couldn't try. But because I'm not trying, I was anxious. Like, it's so crazy. It's such a vicious and crazy cycle. And because I've now just figured out that that's what it is, this is why I'm saying that the energy for 2026 is it's going to have to be different. It's going to have to be something different, because I'm not doing what I've been doing in the past. Because I've seen that doing what I've been doing, overthinking, allowing myself to let a moment become more than what it needs to be. Oh, I nearly didn't. I never would have made it. 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 So shout out to God, shout out to the universe, shout out to the creative force that lives and breathes and moves through me, because I never would have made it otherwise. I never would have made it. I'm telling you right now. So yeah, the year, honestly, year 2025 didn't necessarily give me answers about whether or not I was qualified enough to do something. It didn't give me answers about whether or not I was supposed to be there or not. If anything, the year gave me trust. It gave me trust in myself and in the process. Trust the process, especially when you don't know what it looks like. Just trust it, And if you do know what it looks like, have a little room for a little leeway. Don't be so rigid and stuck in what you want it to be, what you think it should look like, what you think your journey and your life should look like at a certain stage, at a certain time. Don't get so stuck in that, because if you are stuck in that, that is what is going to bring up the anxiety. You're going to be anxious about falling behind. You're going to be anxious about the way you're showing up, or the fact that you're not showing up, or the fact that you are showing up. It's all of that. It's all of that chatter. It's all of that chatter. And we just don't need that anymore. So yeah, shout out to 2025. 2025 was wrapped in love. Okay. And in new experiences. I opened myself up also in ways that I had never done before, just like in terms of friendships, in terms of like the prospect of romantic relationships, whereas before I was kind of against even thinking about a romantic relationship, if I'm being honest. But last year I kind of opened myself up to that. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to not only open myself up in this department, but I'm going to open myself up in every department. And I'm going to allow and welcome all of the blessings and challenges and experiences and whatever comes. And this is just who I'm going to be in 2026. And yeah, so this is who I am. This is me, welcoming new energy, ushering in a new year with positivity, ushering in a new year, knowing that, nothing magical necessarily has to happen in life for me to believe that life is worth living. Nothing externally has to happen. I'm the one who has to choose what it is that I want my life to look like. I'm the one who has to choose what it is that I give my time and attention to, and what it is that I observe, and who it is that I let into my life and out of my life, And yeah, I love it. I love the energy. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it's because I'm growing older, I don't know what the energy is. I don't know if I'm just sick of myself, but whatever it is, I am very happy for it. I am very excited for it. And currently we are in a space where I feel very good in myself, in my body. And just being able to say that, in January, especially just looking back to how I felt in January of 2025, being able to say that I feel very great and I feel very blessed and I feel very excited in January of 2026 is a huge blessing that I will never take for granted, because I know where my state of mind has been before. Guys, when I tell you, like one day we'll have a serious conversation about mental health. Like we will actually have a serious conversation about it, and I'll lay it down for you so you can really understand what it is that my podcast has basically been speaking about the whole time, what the topics have really been about. I know I kind of narrate my situations in a way where it kind of sounds like a story, or it sounds like, I don't know, it just sounds like an idea. But this is my real life. Okay, I've been speaking about my real life in ways that have been so real and so imminent and so immediate. Okay. And the fact that I'm able to speak about my life in this way right now, right here today, to say that, you know what, I welcome every single thing that 2026 has for me, and I'm excited and I feel good. And especially after the kind of past 3 months that I had, that was so up and down in terms of emotions and experiences and all these things. The fact that I'm standing here today and I'm saying, bring it, bring it. It's, yeah, what a blessing. What a blessing it is to be alive. It is so amazing to be here. And I hope that you guys are feeling the same way, you know? I know that 2026 January might still have some residue of 2025, and maybe 2025 wasn't a good year for you, just like, it wasn't for a lot of people that I know, just like I thought it wasn't for myself, but really now that I rethink, it wasn't that bad. Yeah, I know that, that energy might still exist. It might still be there. I mean, we say it's a new year, but really, like, last year was just like 3 weeks ago. So technically, like, it all still kind of feels the same. Like nothing really is different except the fact that we're just observing a new calendar date, but essentially time is just one big little blob of a thing that is all connected, and it doesn't start anywhere and it doesn't end anywhere, but the wonderful thing about that is the fact that you're the one who can choose where you want your starting point and your finish point to be, and I have chosen that my finishing point of negativity, of observing negativity and allowing one moment to literally ruin my entire experience, ends in 2025. It ended in 2025, as a matter of fact. That is my choosing. That is what I choose. I'm choosing to thrust myself into all opportunities that I'm interested in without thinking about how am I going to do it? Who's gonna, what's gonna, why should I? I'm not thinking about all of those things. If something piques my interest, best believe I'm going for it, okay? And can't nobody stop me, okay? So don't even try, okay? And the energy that I'm choosing is positivity. I know that not every day will be a good day. I know that my energy won't always be high every day. I know that I won't always really want to get up and get dolled up and do all these things. But I also know that it is all my choice at the end of the day. This is my life, and I'm the one who's writing the story about the kind of life that I want to live. And if I should choose to spend my days doing nothing, then I can't be surprised when I feel close to nothing. Like I feel empty. You know what I'm saying? I can't be surprised when that happens. And I can't blame anybody for that. And I can't expect anybody to pull me out of that, And I also know that if I choose to put myself out there, the only thing that could really happen that I used to perceive as negativity is that I could only ever just learn lessons, and learning lessons of life has never been a bad thing. Learning has never been a bad thing. Personally, learning has never been a bad thing. There's a mosquito in here. I'm so sorry. So I'm a little distracted. That's why you'll see me like looking around and losing my train of thoughts. But the energy that I'm choosing for the new year is just newness. I'm choosing to welcome newness, new energy, new experiences. I'm not limiting myself. I'm not closing myself off to anything. And I'm taking the lessons of 2025 with me into 2026, but I'm not allowing any single thing that happened in my past to define my future at all. Like, at all. I think I say it all the time. I've said it in I think one of my other podcast episodes. I think it was Embracing Change. And I've also said it on my YouTube at a time, where I've said, do not allow one moment to grow and become the whole personality of your life. And I think that is definitely what I did in December of 2025. I allowed small little negative moments to just kind of rewrite my year and to rewrite the way that I was thinking and feeling about the year. And it wasn't true. I was just upset. Yeah, I was just upset. And I know that moments of being upset are going to come, they're going to come along. There's nothing that I can do to prevent that. There's nothing that I can do to avoid negativity, but I can choose how I move on from those negative experiences. And I can choose how I want to feel about life and about experiences and about myself, So yeah, that is the whole theme of this episode, I think, where it's like, don't allow one negative moment to grow and become this whole thing that is now your personality, that is now your life, that is now rewriting who it is that you are and the kind of experience that you're having, I think if you are a person who is in a position where you can experience a lot of good things, a lot of things that you enjoy, throw yourself into those things unashamedly. Don't be afraid. Don't be timid. Don't hold yourself back. Just go into the spaces that feel like home to you. Go into the spaces that bring you joy. Go into the spaces that motivate you to want to show up. And go into the spaces, especially the spaces that scare you. Go into those bravely. Go into them as if your mother runs the place. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is the energy that I want us all to really have in 2026, is to charge at opportunities and fears and doubts, but also to charge at new experiences and to charge at life fearlessly. I know this is something that I have spoken about, and I feel like throughout the journey of my podcast with all my episodes, I'm going to keep touching base on a lot of topics that I initially started this podcast with. And one that I feel that I'm currently touching on is I think it was my first episode, starting fearlessly, even though I had spoke about starting fearlessly back then. And I did start fearlessly back then. Me speaking about starting fearlessly was a desire. And the desire then needed to be followed by action. And then that action needed to be followed by consistency, which is the magic potion that I think I've been missing in my life, where it's like, I'll have the thoughts and then I'll have like that spark of like motivation and then I'll like kind of do a thing. But then afterwards, when that motivation dies down and I maybe don't get like the reception that I was hoping for, or I don't get the results that I wanted, or whatever the case is, then I kind of get a bit demotivated. And because I'm demotivated, I don't show up more consistently for the thing. And because I don't show up consistently for the thing, I don't know for a fact whether or not it's working, And all of that has been a vicious cycle that has caused me so much distress. But you know what? I'm human and I'm doing life for the first time as far as I'm concerned. Because if I've done this before in a past life, why am I suffering like this? What did I do? I'm doing life for the first time. And because I'm doing life for the first time, I'm going to be very apprehensive, but I shouldn't allow that apprehension to become my personality, Yeah, so I think, I don't know, this episode hasn't had one actual direction. I feel like this is just a catch up, a 2026 catch up, just trying to see where your headspace is at, sharing where my headspace is at, where my energy is at, and what my intentions are for the year. And what my intentions are, especially for this podcast, is to keep showing up. To keep showing up so that I can prove to myself whether or not, expressing myself in this way is working for me. To keep showing up for my art so that I can prove to myself whether or not I can make an actual career out of that, because it's taken me the long way around to just admit that I want to be a professional artist. I've been drawing since I was 8 years old. I don't know why it's taken me literally, I'm not going to expose my age, but if you know, all these years to just admit that, yeah, art is what I want to do for a living. I want to be a creative for a living. Speaking is another thing that I want to be able to do for a living if possible. You know what I'm saying? Looking cute. I like looking cute. If I can do that for a living, those are the things that I want to do. But it has taken me the long way around to admit that. And because it has taken me the long way around to be honest with myself, it took me the long way around to then to convince myself, to show up for those things and to convince myself that that is what I'm supposed to be doing. Because then I felt like, yeah, but there are other people who have always known for sure that this is what they're supposed to be doing. And maybe they're better equipped for this, maybe they should do it instead. But we're not doing that anymore. Okay. And I'd love to share some of that same energy with you, where it's like, if you want to do something and you know in your heart of hearts that is your passion, that is your dream, don't put that dream on the back seat for anybody or for anything. If you have the choice, if you have the choice and the opportunity to put yourself first, and you have the choice and the opportunity to go after the things that you want, and you're in a position where you can, please, please, please utilize every single opportunity, every single moment, every piece of energy, every spark of energy, every piece of motivation that you have to go for those things unashamedly and without fear of failure. Because at the end of the day, you're never going to know if something is going to work out if you don't even try. And you know for a fact that it's not going to work out if you don't try at all. You don't know if you're going to win or lose if you try, but you know for a fact you're going to lose if you don't try. They say you miss out on 100% of the opportunities that you don't take, but you never know which ones you're going to get, right? So yeah, I think that is the kind of energy that I want us to charge forth with in 2026. The kind of energy that reeks of audacity. I know I have spoken about audacity as well before, but I kind of lost my audacity somewhere along the lines, somewhere along the years, And now I think I'm getting it back. I think I'm becoming a little more audacious again. Oh, audacious. English. Please forgive me. English is not my first language. It's not. Let's just keep it true. It's not. Let's be honest. It's not. I'm a Black South African girl. Please. Okay. So yeah, I think I'm getting back into a space where I'm becoming a little bit more audacious again, and I'm becoming a little bit more alive again. I'm feeling more like myself again, and I'm trying to take myself away from the things that I know do not belong to me, the things that I adopted from people. So the habits, the mindsets, the ways of speaking, the ways of showing up or not showing up. I'm trying to unlearn every single thing that I have taken from people. I guess in an effort to acclimate, I guess that's really the only reason why I would ever even adopt another person's way of thinking and viewing life, is purely just because I'm trying to acclimate to, their life and their vibe and their environment. And honestly, while I'm busy acclimatizing to somebody else's environment and vibe, what is happening to my environment and vibe and to my world, So yeah, I'm just in a space where I just want to be thinking about myself with a bit more consideration and a bit more care. And I want to be handling myself in ways that I want other people to handle me, People can never really know how to deal with you if you don't know how to deal with yourself, okay? And that is just the truth. And furthermore, people cannot know for a fact how to classify you or what kind of opportunities to bring your way or how to speak about you in rooms that, maybe your name being mentioned could really like propel you forth and all these things. People will never really know how exactly to classify you if you do not give them the definition of who it is that you are, if you do not give them the experience of who it is that you are. And furthermore, people will not believe you if they do not get to see it, if they do not get to, be around it and experience it and know for a fact that this is who you are and not just who you're saying you are, So yeah, my bottom line is in 2026, oh my gosh, I see that mosquito again. But anyway, in 2026, right, we are welcoming all the opportunities that the universe has in store for us, okay? In 2026, we know and understand that those opportunities will not always come with highs. Sometimes they'll come with extremely low lows. Sometimes they'll come with just mediocre, boring moments. Sometimes they'll come with moments that just surprise us and are just exceedingly out of this world, and we could have never seen them coming, But the important thing to know and to remember is that we have to stay open and honest with ourselves, open to whatever it is that comes our way, because we know that it is all for our betterment and for our enjoyment and for us to experience so that we can write our own story about our lives, right? And honest enough to say, you know what, I don't feel ready, but I know that I don't have to be ready. I don't have to be ready, because if I don't take this chance now, I'm going to forever be thinking, okay, well, let me just tweak this and then I'll be ready. Okay, let me tweak this and then I'll be ready. And because you're making all these little tweaks in preparation for being ready, you're never going to be ready, And because you're never going to be ready, you're never going to jump in. And you'll see years go by and you'll wonder where the time went. I mean, if 2025 was not an indicator of how fast time is running, baby girl, baby boy, baby girl, okay, that is all I'm gonna say. You just fill in the rest. You should know better, okay? Time is running. Time waits for no man, One thing that I have come to understand about life is that while you are stuck in that moment, the life is moving. Life is moving. Life is actually just like moving day by day. Every second, things are changing, opportunities come and go, and it's either you're going to get on a train and you're going to go, or you're going to just be stuck at that station, and that's going to be your life, And whatever you choose is also just up to you. It's your life at the end of the day. You don't actually have to feel motivated enough to make a change if you don't want to make a change. That's actually something that you should also really keep in mind and know. If you are satisfied with the quality of your life and you're satisfied with the way that things are going, and you're satisfied with giving up on certain things that you maybe felt like you wanted before, but now you're just in a space where you just want differently, that's also fine. Because another thing that you should know for sure in 2026 is that you're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to want one thing one day and then want a totally different thing the other day. As long as your desires are not hurting other people, they're not imposing on other people's safety and human rights, and, they're just not affecting other people negatively, then the changes that you make in your life are for your life. It's your life. You get to make the choice. You get to write the story of who it is that you want to be and what it is that you want to see at the end of the day. And it is important that you know this, because if you feel powerless and you feel like everything is out of your hands, you're never going to feel satisfied with life. And that is just a fact, So in an effort to feel more satisfied with life, know that it is all in your hands. And I know that sounds like such a huge responsibility. And I, for one, am one person who has always tried to kind of evade responsibility. I will tell you right now that responsibility is actually a part of the gift. It's part of the enjoyment, okay? The fact that you have responsibility means that you have purpose. It means that you have something that is expected of you, and expected of you not so that you can please other people, but expected of you so that you can live a life that you are proud of, A life where you know that, okay, these are the things that I was responsible for, and look at what I did with my responsibility. Look at what I produced, you know? So yeah, don't be afraid. This year, we're charging forth. We're not afraid of the opportunities. We're not afraid of the responsibilities. We're not afraid of anything, you know, because fear is such a low vibrational energy anyways, if we're being honest. Like, I mean, fear is gross, okay? We're not trying to feed no negative entities, no negative energies. We're trying to vibrate at our highest, most beautiful, most peaceful, most loving, most creative, most safe energy and frequency. You know, that is what we're trying to tap into. And we only tap into that by really just being ourselves. You know, they say that you are the embodiment of the force of life when you choose to embody yourself. You are the embodiment of the universe. You are the embodiment of divinity. You are the embodiment of God when you choose to just be yourself. Literally, because you're unique. You're a one of one. And that energy can only come from one of one, you know? So yeah, I think these are just a few of the important things to remember and to take into 2026. To just be open to everything that comes along, but also to stay true to yourself. And if you know who you are, when things happen during the course of the year that maybe do not align with what you would have wanted for yourself, because you stay true to yourself and you've been honest about why you want certain things and how you're going to go about certain things, you'll be fine. You're going to bounce back from those moments. And you'll find that you're going to bounce back from those moments quicker than you did before, because you're taking the lessons that you've learned in the past. You're not repeating the same things, but instead you're moving forward with a better understanding, with more experience, and with just a deeper appreciation for yourself and for your life. You are going to be okay. You know, that's another thing that I want you to know and to remember. In 2026, baby, you are going to be okay. You're going to be just fine. Okay? You're going to be fine. Trust yourself. Believe in yourself. You're gonna be okay. The worst thing that could happen is that things will not turn out the way that you expected them to. And that's really not the worst thing ever. That's really probably even the best thing ever. That's the best thing ever. That things don't turn out the way that you wanted them to. I feel like I've spoken a lot today. But if I could leave you with anything in this episode, it is this, okay? Trust yourself. Trust that you know what is best for you, but also trust that because you know what's best for you, you're going to do every single thing that you can to protect you. And you're going to do this both consciously and subconsciously. When you do it consciously, make sure that you're actually protecting yourself against things that genuinely are harmful, and that you're not protecting yourself against things that could have actually added to the betterment of your life. And what I mean by that is, don't conceal fear and doubt under the guise of protecting yourself. If you're scared, if you're doubting yourself, if you don't feel adequately prepared or ready, be honest about those things. Speak on those things, because I think healing and true change starts with you just being honest and then expressing that honesty. And then afterwards is where change truly starts to happen. And you're probably going to have to speak on these things a few times. It's something that I've noticed. Like, I feel like this episode today is very much similar to a lot of the episodes that I've put out, where it's like I'm speaking about being fearless. I'm speaking about, believing in yourself more. I'm speaking about being motivated and wanting to create more and all of this. And I'm speaking about these things often because repetition literally leads to the truth. The things that you repeat are the things that you become. The life that you constantly go back to and live and participate in, that is your true life. The person that you show up as every single day, that is who you truly are. I mean, you can always speak once about like, wanting to be this, that, and the third, but who you really always present yourself as and the things that you're always saying, those define who it is that you really are, So make sure that the things that you're repeating and the things that you're doing are in line with who it is that you really want to be, because there isn't going to be one aha moment that's going to come into your life that's going to cause you to then suddenly make a huge big shift and change in your life. Nothing is going to happen externally, not necessarily, and you shouldn't hope for anything really to happen externally before you make a change. The change needs to happen first internally, and you need to decide that you want it for yourself, while you still have the option to choose whether or not you're going to go for it. You don't want to find yourself in situations where you're now having to make decisions because you have no other choice. That is not what life is about. Essentially, you should understand that you have choices to just be whoever it is that you want to be and to show up in ways that you want to show up. And yeah, you should just utilize those moments to just be your best self and to just do better for yourself. And yeah, I'm speaking mostly to myself, by the way, when I say these kind of things, because I just need to hear it. I just want to hear it. Nobody else is going to tell me. And even if anybody else tells me these things, I wouldn't believe it. So I need to hear it from myself, and I need to relive this conversation often so that I'm really just staying true to the things that I say that I want and that I want to see and experience. So yeah, this episode was just like a young little check-in, but I think I was just so excited to just jump back into something that I was excited about when it was still in its infancy stage. And then I continued to be excited about when I saw people's reception to it, but also something that I was excited about because it's something that's just, it's mine. It's all mine. Like, it's all for me. Like, I created this space, and I feel like this is my baby, and I didn't want to neglect my baby anymore. Like, I just don't want to do that anymore. I just want to be here, and I want to be close to you guys, and I want to speak to you, and I want to be close to this mic, and I want to give all this energy that I have to you, just in an effort to motivate you and to inspire you and to encourage you to really make 2026 the best year of your life, and then make the following year the best year of your life, and then the next year the best year of your life. Like, from here onwards, I need you to be making every single year the best year of your life. I need you to be making every single year your year, every single year. Because what else are you going to do? Like, you're just going to sit this one out? Like, what's the point? Like, why are you, if not you, then who? Like, who's supposed to be enjoying life if not you, And then how are you going to enjoy life if you're not making provisions for you to enjoy that life? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think I've heard people call 2026 2020 fix, as in like people are fixing the things that they're dissatisfied with in life, as in people are fixing their lives, people are fixing their mindsets, people are fixing their schedules and fixing their content schedules and goals and all of that. And I like that. I like that a lot. I like 2020 fix being a thing, because it's not necessarily that we're broken and that we need repairing and, we need to fix ourselves in that sense, but it's that now it's time to fix your life, like really put things together and put things into perspective. If you're like me, then you're a chronic researcher. You're always researching things, gathering information, and you're always just making sure you understand what it is that you're participating in first before you even go in and all of that. And you're just hoarding all of this information. Now it is time to sort out that information, sort through it, see what you're taking, see what you're leaving behind, and to implement that stuff now. Now we're no longer just sitting on piles and piles of unread ebooks, guilty, and motivational whatevers, we're done with that now. That was 2025. Now we're implementing, and that is the energy that I want you to take with you into this year. The energy of execution. We're now executing, we're now going forth, we're doing the thing, and if it doesn't work out, we're coming back to the drawing board. But this time we're not staying in the boardroom, okay? We're going back out into the field again, expeditiously, immediately, with immediate emergence, okay? We're going back out there, and yeah, we're just putting ourselves out there and seeing what's going to happen. So yeah, that's been my whole little yap session for the past hour. I hope that this year brings you joy, brings you lots of great energy, brings you lots of creative energy. I hope that this year brings you all your heart's desires. I hope that this year is kinder to you than the past years have been. I hope this is the kindest year that you'll ever get to experience, and that actually not ever get to experience. I hope that it only just gets kinder from here and better from here. And I hope that you know that life honestly does get better. A moment is a moment unless you observe it and feed into it, and then it becomes your life. But you know that you don't have to observe the things that you're not happy with, right? And you know that you can fix the things that you're not happy with. And if you cannot fix the things that you are not happy with, my dear, then make sure that you're making provisions for yourself in your life, and that you're creating little pockets of happiness. If you cannot fix the main cause of your demise, then at least make sure that within that demise, you're creating pockets for yourself, to just be with yourself, to just speak to yourself, to just care for yourself, to nurture yourself, and to just give yourself the things that you deserve, because you really do deserve the world, and nobody's going to give it to you. You got to snatch that shit out of their hands. You got to take it for yourself, okay? And if you are lucky enough to have people give it to you, don't doubt it. Don't doubt it. If it was given to you, that's your blessing. Take it. Don't say, oh no, I feel like I'm not ready. I feel like I'm not the right person, because you will fumble a lot of opportunities, and you will honestly fumble the feeling of what that is and the experience of that thing by doubting it, by thinking that maybe you're not qualified for it, by thinking that maybe it should be for somebody else, you know? So don't cheat yourself out of the things that are meant for you for any reason, not because of doubts, not because of circumstances, not because of fear, and not because of qualifications or the lack thereof. Okay? This year we're gonna be charging at life with the audacity of like a 40-year-old male who is balding and has mommy issues. That is the kind of audacity we are going to implement this year, because those men are so audacious. Love that for them. Love that they can be so audacious. Give me some of that. I want some of that. Yeah, that's the kind of audacity we're coming with this year. And honestly, I'm at a place where I just don't care anymore. I don't care. I don't care to be palatable. I don't care to be cute, because I realize that actually I'm not cute anymore. Like, yeah, this is like a lost born child realization. The day that you realize you're no longer cute and you're now a liability. Yeah. But anyways, that is a story for another day, okay? I hope that you have enjoyed this episode, and I know that it was all over the place and it was just me yapping and rambling for the whole hour, but I hope that I have left you with, I don't know, just like a new perspective, a new way of looking at things, and a new way of feeling and thinking about things, and a new way of feeling and thinking about this new year. And I hope that I've inspired you to show up. You know, I shared a little bit about what I did in my year last year, not as a way to flex by any means, but in an effort to highlight the fact that I wasn't ready for anything that I wanted. And I wasn't ready for anything that happened, you know, and the things that did happen, I didn't even know that I wanted them to happen until they were happening. And when I was there, I didn't feel ready for those things, but I still showed up. And the fact that I did was the reason why I can now stand here and be like, oh man, those things were actually so amazing. Those things were actually so cool. I was actually able to do so many cool things just by the simple fact that I was able to will myself out of bed and will myself out of my head and show up, you know? And that is really why I wanted to share that. And I hope that that inspires you to then also just put yourself out there, show up. You never know what's going to happen. You never know what your year is going to look like. You're going to be looking back in December thinking, damn, all of that happened? That's amazing. You know, like this gives me a new sense of joy, a new sense of purpose, and a new reason for living, and a new reason for wanting to experience more. If I could experience that and I wasn't even ready, what more could I experience when I start to create an inner world that is geared towards experiencing and receiving and expressing? Like, what more could happen if I just open myself up? And that is what I want to leave you with today. I want you to ask yourself, what more could I experience out of life if I just opened myself up even more? If I just stopped holding myself back, and if I stopped giving myself in small doses? I want you to give yourself in your fullness. I want you to be potent. I want people to choke on your audacity this year. Okay? That's what I want to see happening, because we're done playing it small. Playing it small has done nothing for you. Keep it true, keep it honest. It has done nothing for you except make the people around you comfortable. And honestly, we're not in the business of making people comfortable anymore, because comfortable won't pay your bills. Comfortable will not get you out of bed when you are feeling depressed and you're feeling a sense of self inadequacy, you know? Making other people comfortable will not help you feel like you're self-actualizing in life and like you're chopping your goals. Okay? So enough of that. Enough of trying to be palatable. I'm sprinkling some audacity on you. Take it. Take some of this audacity. Okay? And use it. And when you want some more, come back. I'll give you more. Okay? But yeah, this has been the Lovely Frequency, and I hope that you have enjoyed this episode. Yeah, let me know how you feel. Let me know what the vibes are. Let me know what the plans are for 2026. Do you guys have a vision board? Do you have plans? Do you have New Year's resolutions? Do you not have New Year's resolutions? What is the vibe? I think my only resolution for this year is just to be audacious, as it has always been, but this time is to actually implement that audacity. So yeah, 2026, cheers to being audacious. I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for loving me, supporting me, and seeing me. And I'll always just do my best to make sure that you feel seen, loved, and heard as well. This is the Lovely Frequency, and I've been your host, Miss LoveLee Ndlovu. Bye, loves.